cuffs are off, man. Get right. Too many left in these leagues, but I ain't going.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant from NFL Network.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
Marking nothing, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, don't roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves up.
What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network. It's week 8. I'm an hour late. Second half of the fantasy season is here. So no worries, man. We're here. We're going to get through it. Time to really roll those sleeves up, man, and make a push for this second half and get those teams. If you're struggling, if you're on the brink, we want to help you get your lineups right to take you into those playoffs there. And if you're sitting in a good position, hopefully you can just avoid injuries and take it all the way in. And if you're kind of behind, maybe 1-6, 0-7, something like that, 2-5, still battle. Don't give up. Worst case, play spoiler. Start wrecking havoc on the rest of the league, and don't be Taco Buy. Put up a fight. Do what you can, even if you may not have a shot yourself. There's other people that might be counting on you to take someone else out, or you never know what could happen and how your season can turn around, or injuries and things happen. I've seen it all happen nowadays. So appreciate you guys for coming out, man, and dealing with my lateness here. But we're gonna have a fun show. You guys see I'm here by myself tonight, not because I'm late, but Frank wasn't feeling too well tonight, so I'm running it solo. So I actually don't feel as bad making him wait. So Frank, hope you get better soon, my friend. And hopefully you can join us back here on Monday. So before we get into the show, I do want to, just kind of send my thoughts and prayers out to the families that are affected by the active shooter in Maine. Not going to get into any real details there, but just want to make sure I acknowledge that. Just appreciate what we have the opportunity to do here and just talk fantasy football. So that's a great opportunity, but because I have this platform, I want to make sure we acknowledge that and send our thoughts and prayers there. You never know, who might be affected by that. So we just want to let you know we have here in our thoughts, and hopefully they catch these guys and have them put to justice. So without any further ado, for any of those who are new catching this stream here, that might be new to the channel. First, of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. We're trying to soar up and past our 1,000 subscriber mark. But we are here Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. On Mondays, we do our overreaction and waiver wire show to get you set up for those waiver wire targets that run probably like most do on Wednesday or Tuesday night. Then Wednesdays here, we do our roster management show. We're talking buy, sell, trade targets, just how we're going to get our lineups right, maybe some ad drops, taking your questions, of course. On Fridays, Classic Mike and I, or it's been Classic Mike lately, I'll be here soon. But we do our game-by-game start-sit preview, so we go game by game, let you know who we're starting, who we're sitting, based on those matchups, and of course taking your start-sit questions there as well too. And then Sunday mornings, Classic Mike is here doing his active and inactive show. Any questions that we can't answer on Friday because of injuries, waiting for statuses to clear up. Then it'll be your kind of last opportunity to run things by us. Make sure we have all the up-to-date info so you can make those decisions heading right into kickoff on Sunday. So again, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for us. If you're already subscribed, hit that like button for me. It helps me out just as much as the subscribe, man. We're trying to grow, so definitely help me out. And if you are watching this later and want to just kind of skip through to the trade targets, maybe the Thursday night preview for your start sits, just go check out the description. I'm doing the chapters in there now, the timestamps, so it'll help you navigate through the show, because we tend to go about an hour or two, 2.5, sometimes 3 hours, just depending on the traffic we get in the chat. But it's truly my goal to answer as many questions, as I can. We wouldn't be here without you guys. The stuff we have planned, that people can come and watch that anytime. But for those of you guys who show up for the stream, I want to make sure I'm answering those questions. And for the people who can or don't show up for the live stream and still want to hear our takes, I want to have a way for them to skip through all the fodder. We all don't have 3 hours to just kind of hang out and talk fantasy football. I'm happy to be able to do that. So enough of that. Let's get into it, man. Let's do well, first, of course, like we said, because of the people, and I'm running this whole thing solo here, so you guys might have to be a little patient with me here. If Ron's still awake, Ron, appreciate you for hanging it out. He already asked me if there was something going on today. I knew thought I'd be a little late, but I gotta take your sleep away, man. But no, I appreciate you for coming out here, man. Always one of the first ones in the chat. Appreciate it, brother. We have Cal Vista. He was asking a question. He said he was debating whether to pick up Zeke or not. Let me hit this banner in here so we'll get to the chat. So he said, do we pick up Zeke? And my answer to him was, if we're picking up guys like DeMarcado and Darrell Henderson, who just came off the couch, like, why not pick up Zeke at this point? If you need someone to throw in there with bye weeks and things coming up, or just the injuries that have been happening to the running back position, and people probably hoarding as many running backs as they can because you have PTSD at this point, and just need somebody to throw in there in that RB1 and RB2 spot, then Zeke, had a last couple games have been decent, scored a touchdown, but Stevenson's been looking better as well too. And when I really looked at the stats for Stevenson, I mean, he had 2 good games, 14, 15 PPR points, and then just had 3 consecutive games where we just, including a 2.4 PPR outing, and, just kind of a scary floor. And then these last 2 weeks, he's kind of corrected it here a little bit, but I'm sure he's going to be talked about as one of our most traded here tonight. And he's, been in other questions. Monday night, we were taking questions with a lot of trades involving Stevenson. And, I still have him. I've been benching him just because I've had other options that I thought were better. These last 2 weeks have, made me feel a lot more comfortable about throwing him in my lineup. I know we're supposed to be talking about Zeke, not Stevenson, but hey, these are the tangents we go on. So we got Will Hayes in the house asking Jacksonville or Atlanta defense. Ooh, hit the sneeze button there for you guys. But yeah, Atlanta defense is who I'm rolling with. Obviously, with that matchup against Tennessee, doesn't look like Tannehill's going to be starting this week. So, you're going to be facing basically either a rookie quarterback who's going to start, Will Levis. They said they're going to work in some Malik in there as well too. So I'm sure there's opportunities for some turnovers, maybe a pick 6 there. I just, Atlanta's not that bad of a defense right now anyway. So I wouldn't mind firing them up over Jacksonville this week. What else do we got here? Oh yeah, Cal was just saying, take your time. He's on vacation, late night riding today. So it's just odd being one of the first ones here. So yeah, man, appreciate you coming out and being here with me being an hour late. We got Roberto in the house. What's up, Roberto? Always good to keep seeing you here on the streams. Keep coming out. Appreciate the support, man. Saying what's up. He's saying he got offered Bijan and Rashee Rice for Pollard. Would you accept, or do you think I should try to get someone else on his team like Tajay Spears? If you need kind of like an upside, well, first and foremost, yes, you're trading Pollard, let alone you're getting 2 for 1 on Bijan. This guy's selling Bijan really low. It's not like Pollard's been tearing the world, apart either. I think there's definitely better days to come ahead with Bijan. I wish you could just smack Arthur Smith around a little bit and just tell him to play this guy. And obviously the whole headaches and whatever illness or sickness he had, and then still getting a carry in the fourth quarter was just very strange and weird. seemed more like a team punishment, maybe broke some kind of curfew rule or something like that. I don't know. They're keeping it, pretty hush hush and sticking with the same story, which kind of means it's either the truth or it's been completely fabricated. So everyone's saying the same thing, but it's neither here nor there. He looks like he's ready to go, and I'd take that chance on Bijan, and let alone getting someone like Rashee Rice if you need some wide receiver upside, or getting someone like Tajay Spears and Bijan. I wouldn't mind doing that either. The rumors with Derrick Henry possibly being traded to somewhere like Baltimore, who showed some interest, of course, with their injuries there, and they're trying to make a push, looking a lot better. I wouldn't mind grabbing someone like Spears, although you do hope, Tannehill's going to hopefully come back and be better options in that offense. So personally, me, if you've been watching, which Roberto, you might be a little newer to us here, but all offseason, Rashee Rice was my guy. I have him out of my 16 teams. I think I have him, or at least in my redraft team. So if I take out like my 4 or 5 dynasty teams, which I do have him in a couple places there, I have him in several, let's just say several, probably at least 50% of my redraft teams. I've been holding Rashee Rice and spot starting him here and there. As needed. So I'm a big Rashee Rice guy. He's attached to Patrick Mahomes. There's opportunities to be the one. So I'll take that potential upside, all day. So I'm smashing accept on this. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. We have G Hop in the house. He's saying, "What's up, man? Thoughts on Tyreek Hill's injury? Obviously, you never wish a player injuries, but I'm not complaining since he's facing him this week." And that would be my thoughts exactly. We'll see what happens. I have that here in my news and notes, so hang tight for my full thoughts on that. We'll definitely get into that here shortly. Let me just get through the chats here, and we'll open it up with that. We got Smoking a Cat in the house, man. So I need to say, what's up, brother? Trade Lamb, Bijan, Gibbs, and Roshan to get Diggs, Eckler, and Spears, or trade Brees, Godwin, and Najee to get Amon-Ra. So no to the second one, because you're not trading Brees, Godwin, and Najee just to get Amon-Ra. Brees should get Amon-Ra plus something. If you were looking to trade Brees, you shouldn't be the one giving up 3 for 1 there. They should be giving up more to you. So that's a no on that one. And then getting back to the Lamb, Bijan, Gibbs, and Roshan for Diggs, Eckler, Spears. I think I'd stick with the Lamb, Bijan, Gibbs, Roshan. All those guys have opportunities to be key contributors in their offense, if not, their number ones. With Roshan, Gibbs, if DeMont continues to get hurt, looks like they have no problem giving him a full workload now. So I'd keep that side. I'd keep the Lamb, Bijan side. You like Diggs and Eckler. I'm good on those guys, but what you're giving up, I think, is a little too much there. Let's see. We got Neanderthal in the house, man. So he said, "I waited for you, bro, but I got to get up at 5 a.m. and I play you this week, LFG." So I'll talk to you later, man. Appreciate you coming in, dropping the comment, man. Appreciate that. Sorry for being so late here, man. And yeah, we're going at it. I think I have you projected to win on the one we're facing, but we know how those Yahoo projections go, man. So. Like I tell everybody, good luck to everybody this week, unless you're playing me. So unfortunately, Neanderthal in that league, I'm not wishing you luck on that one. I hope it comes my way on that, but we'll see how it plays out, my friend. So we got Roberto saying, I would be the one trading Pollard and Rashee Rice. I want Bijan, but I think I might be giving a little much. I also have Tyreek, Amari Cooper, and Christian Watson. So the way you wrote it, you said you got offered Bijan and Rashee Rice for Pollard. And then now you're saying you have Pollard and Rashee Rice. So you got to straighten that out for me, Roberto, because you're kind of contradicting yourself there. So are you saying you have Pollard and Rashee Rice for Bijan? If you're really looking for the upgrade, but I don't, I'd stick with the upside you can potentially get with Rice there. But if you really want Bijan, I don't think it's an overpay. Pollard for Rashee Rice. So, or Pollard and Rashee Rice for Bijan. But yeah, I'd much rather have. Oh, too bad you weren't getting the Bijan and Rashee Rice for just Pollard. I like that a lot better. But yeah, so not bad. I mean, it's a little bit of an overpay. but not by much. Not by much. You got Tyreek, Cooper, Watson. Yeah, you're okay. I'd still like to keep Rice with that receiver group. Cooper's Watson hasn't shown his full potential yet. Tyreek's really scored enough for all three of your receivers, so when healthy, you should be fine. We got Tingley in the house saying, "Heyo, how's it going? Keep Roshan or drop him for Spears?" That's a tough one, man. What else do you have on your bench that you might be able to get rid of? You know, you got an extra kicker or defense or tight end that you're carrying that you can drop instead of that. I'd like to get my hands on Spears right now amidst the Henry potential trade. But Roshan did come back, practice in full today. He hasn't cleared the concussion protocol yet. And I don't expect him, if he is fully active, to come back and get an entire, full workload. But, he could potentially take over this backfield even once Herbert gets back, depending on how he looks. We've seen what, Foreman was able to do. So let's see what Roshan could do. My gut tells me just to keep Roshan because it's more what can you do for me now versus later, especially at the running back position. Spears is kind of flexible, not really feeling that offense at the moment. You're hoping Henry gets traded off. I would just go with Roshan now and see what you can do later. So there you go. Smokey saying, okay, cool. I'll stay as is. Keep exploring. You don't have to be content, but keep exploring. Pollard and I can't do Christian Watson. What else you got on there that you could throw to him? So we'll see how that goes, man. Let me know if anything new develops. Calvis is saying, what are your thoughts on Christian Watson? Hold, drop, or maybe drop maybe for Bourne. Try to package him. His other wide receivers are Tyreek Hill, Nico, Godwin, and Rashee Rice. I'm not dropping Christian Watson for Bourne. You do got Juju coming back. I don't know if that's going to make a difference, but looks like he's practicing and could potentially return here this week. We've seen what happened with Christian Watson. Like he blew up in the second half of the year. Granted, it was with Aaron Rodgers. Still got to give Jordan Love some time. He's shown that he can play, and that was without even Watson was putting up numbers. Now you're working different people back in, have to get that chemistry timing together. Get some right matchups in there. We know Watson can, take any carry to that, or any carry even, or any catch to the house. He has that kind of game-breaking speed. So I'm holding Christian Watson right now. Maybe you're not feeling totally comfortable to get him in your starting lineup, but he's definitely not a drop candidate for me at this point. So hold on to him, and I think better days are ahead for Christian Watson. But I did have to start Kendrick Bourne this last week 7, with all my buys, and it worked out. It worked out. We got Drunk Squidward in the house. What's up, Drunk Squidward? How's it going, man? Tingley saying, do you like Downs or Rice more, Ross? Or rest of the season? That's tough, man. I like what Downs has been doing lately. You heard me talk about Rice not too long ago, or maybe you popped in after I just showed all my love for Rice. I'd have to just say my initial gut reaction is I like Rice more, but you can't argue with what Downs has been doing, and since Minshew's been there, they're just going to continue building that chemistry. I think Minshew's a lot better for someone like Downs versus Anthony Richardson was. So I think the potential's there. Is there any other way you can open up another, roster spot, someone else you're holding maybe that you don't need to, so that you can potentially hold both these guys, or maybe package both of them together for someone, even better. So, those are the kind of things you want to try to do before you end up having to just drop one guy, or if you're looking to just swap, someone from the waiver. I just remember if they're on the wire right now, as of late Wednesday, early Thursday morning for some of you guys, maybe there's an opportunity where it's not like you're in a big hurry that other people are picking them up right away. So if you kind of made it this far, I don't think you're in a hurry to make a rush decision. So see if you can pull off a 2-for-1 trade somewhere else to upgrade another position, and then go grab one, or, if you didn't include one of those guys in your trade, then you can go grab the other and have both of them. So those are the kind of things I like to do. Squidward saying, would you start the Chargers defense or the Saints defense this week? I knew you guys were going to give me start sit questions, so I had to make sure I brought up the schedule here this week. So, Chargers or Saints? We have the Chargers playing the Bears at home, which you kind of like playing the home defense a little better sometimes. Saints defense, which is been pretty good here. Let's see. They are playing the Colts. The Colts are going to put up points. They got Jonathan Taylor. He's looking good. ETN just kind of, I don't want to say expose this Saints defense, but they've shown that you can still run on them, and Indianapolis has been doing a good job of that. Chargers defense is just kind of terrible overall. They always find a way to kind of lose there. That's a tough one. I think I'm going to lean just more Saints, just because they do have more kind of playmakers there. I think Marshawn Lattimore, that secondary can kind of shut down these potential or these wide receivers here. Keep it a little closer game. The Bears offense has been looking pretty decent lately, actually, even with Bagent, and however you call it. So, yeah, that's a tough one, but I'm going to go with the Saints. I'm going to go with the Saints on that one. Roberto saying, "Oh yeah, that's what I meant, but thanks, man. Also, would you drop Jamison Williams or Elijah Moore for Tank Dell?" I would drop Moore for Dell, but not Williams. Williams is fast, man. Like, he super fast, like third fastest wide receiver behind Waddle and Hill. I want to bet on that for a little bit longer. So Elijah Moore is going to have PJ Walker throwing to him for a while. They had showed a little bit of connection there, but ultimately I think he'll develop that chemistry with Cooper. He's their best wide receiver there. He's also been throwing to Njoku. So I definitely like Dell, so I would drop him for Moore. That's just me. We got Smokey the Cat asking, drop one. Sharps, Najee, Kirk Cousins, he has Burrow, Roshan, or JSN. You can't trade these guys? I know Najee, you probably can't get anything. In all honesty, I'd probably be dropping Charbonnet right now because he's just purely a handcuff at this point. Looks like DK is going to come back, but we saw JSN kind of have a little mini breakout without DK there. Open up, some targets and was able to score the touchdown. Maybe you can package JSN and Najee, for somebody else, or if you want to hold JSN, you're probably not going to able to package Najee and Sharps for really anybody there. If you can, obviously try to do a trade like that. If it's one QB, I don't mind dropping Cousins now that Burrow's on his, back from his bye week. I would try to maybe trade him first. He is like a top 5 quarterback at the moment and just kind of wrecked my Niners. So maybe you have some trade value there. So maybe you could put like Cousins and Najee package together and see if you can open up that roster spot. But if you are forced to drop one of them, I'm probably dropping Charbonnet at this point. So good luck to you on that one. And of course, when I say that, I think Ken Walker's dealing with a little injury right now. So I could see why you might want to hold on to him. A little tough. So you might have to kind of play that one out. See how it goes for a little bit as we get more information. We got Season dropping in saying, "What's up? How's it going, man? Appreciate you for supporting over here, Season. One of our OGs still coming out for the stream. So really appreciate it, man. We got Perry W in the house saying, "What up? I'm 6-1. Way to flex on him." He's trying to do T-Law, Mostert, Nico, or Godwin, whichever the guy wants, for Kirk, Montgomery, and Devonta Smith. How do we feel about that? So T-Law, Mostert, Nico, or Godwin. I would try to push Godwin and keep Nico if you can. But like you said, whichever one the guy wants. And you're trying to get Kirk, Montgomery, and Devonta Smith. I like this trade. You're trading a high Mostert right now to get Montgomery, who's hurt. Maybe he comes back this week. Maybe he sits one more week. I would assume the Devonta Smith is an upgrade over Godwin. Maybe not so much currently as Nico is, but I think Devonta will get his. I'm not really a big fan of trying to trade T-Law. He just been getting kind of unlucky. I mean, Travis Etienne's been scoring 2 touchdowns like from inside the 5. A lot of those could have, easily been passing touchdowns or play action, which they could be setting up. The defenses are knowing that, oh, they're running it, so maybe they sell out, and Dougie P throws some little Jacksonville special in there and gets T-Law doing some play action and get some throwing touchdowns in there for him. So I'm not totally out on T-Law right now. Kirk is just, you got to be willing to have the ups and downs with him. But obviously, if you've had T-Law, you're used to that, so far. So overall, I do like the trade because most importantly, that Mostert upgrade to Montgomery, as far as getting that long-term starter with Achane coming back. If you're going to sell Mostert, now would be the time. But again, they both were kind of eating. They didn't really need many touches to still produce good fantasy RB numbers. So I think it's a pretty, even trade. And if you like those guys a little better, then go ahead and do it, man. Again, you want to play fantasy with the guys you want. If, T-Law's kind of rubbed you a little sideways here, then moving on from him, if that makes you feel better every week, not having to make that decision on him or seeing other guys outperform him based on where you drafted him, then make the trade. That's what they're there for. And just live with the result, man. And, I don't think you could really go wrong with Kirk Cousins. And hopefully he gets Jetta's back. And again, we saw what he just did to my Niners defense, unfortunately. So I hate that you guys keep putting questions in here that involve me having to say Kirk Cousins whooped our ass. So appreciate that, Perry. Let's see. Tingley saying it's more like I missed out on Downs and he picked up Rice. He just wanted to hear if I picked up the better of the two. Oh, okay. So in that case, I don't think it's, Downs is kind of just the guy of the week, so to speak, but I'd much rather have the guy connected to, again, now that I've kind of sat on it, like I'd much rather have the guy connected to Mahomes. I think that production's still to come, and I keep preaching it. These rookie wide receivers take time. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian Watson, OBJ, his rookie year. These guys, they break out in the second half of the year. Guys like Chase, Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, if you want to throw him in there, they usually don't come out that hot. Normally we used to have to wait a few years until these guys kind of hit their prime, 2-3 years in the league, and then they would start kind of being these guys. But now they're popping a lot early, the way the game has changed and the talent that's coming in. So again, give me the guy attached to Rice. Yeah, he has to compete with Kelsey still, but if he could be that guy, he's 6'1", one of the bigger guys they have besides MVS, but MVS finds ways to not be in the lineup, so he'll pop here and there. But other than that, I think you did right with Rice. So there you go. Is Brees Hall top 5? That's a soothing music. I don't know. I think he's top 10. It might be hard to put him in 5. So if I had to go 5, obviously CMC. You have Eckler still in there, I think. Like, I don't think Bijan's quite 3 anymore, but I'd have to put like Kamara in there right now, the way he's been producing with check down Carr over there. I think he's worthy of a top 5 spot right now. I think you have to put ETN in that conversation right now too. So I think that's 4. And maybe he sneaks in at 5. I mean, you still got guys like Bijan there. Is he? Pollard. Oh yeah, you got Achane, Mostert / whoever the Miami running back is. You got Saquon. How to forget Saquon? You got to keep him in the top 5. I wouldn't say DeAndre Swift, but I think I might like Swift a little better than Brees at the moment. But he's kind of tailed off here a little bit. Just that offense kind of struggling at the moment. So yeah, top 7, 7 or 8, I think is where Brees, might be at right now. Yeah, I'd say about top 7. I I think I like 5 guys ahead of him, but it was hard. It was hard. So good question. I like that one. Appreciate that soothing music. We got the citizen in here saying pick 2 running backs: Hubbard, Hunt, Eckler, Gibbs, and Endo. So Eckler for sure. We're not getting away from Eckler. With the Jerome Ford injury, I'm probably leaning Hunt. It looks like Sanders is practicing in full this week, so it might be more of a split there between him and Hubbard. If Monty comes back this week, you know, he's probably going to go back to his pretty much role he had there. So I think that lowers Gibby, Henderson. Yeah, I think you have better options, but that's not a bad other option to have there. So I'd have to say Eckler and Gibbs if Demont sits, and then Eckler and Hunt if Demont does play, is where I would go. And if I had to rank the other two, it would go Henderson, Gibbs, Hubbard, assuming their respective counterparts are back in their backfield. So there we go. Let's see. Tingley saying, are we starting Flowers or Devonta Smith this week? Devonta Smith going up against the Washington Commanders, who can be beat deep. So I think he's probably boom or bust. He definitely has that ability to go deep. And that's where these Commanders are susceptible. So I do like D. Smith there. And Baltimore is playing the Cardinals. They're okay. But you can also just run on them. So let me see where they're at as far as points allowed. Yeah, so Commanders are giving up the 3rd most points to wide receivers. So yeah, I do like D. Smith there. Cardinals are right behind him and giving up the 6th most points. So yeah, it's Smith attached to the, I don't want to say better quarterback. I mean, they're kind of almost like the same guy. Flowers is just pretty much the de facto one over there. But I think if there was a time to start Devonta Smith, it would be this week against this Commanders defense. So I'd take my chances there. I'm not playing for second place. You're either first or last, right? So yeah, if you want a little more floor, I'd probably go Flowers. If you're looking for boom, but also potential bust, then you're looking at Devonta Smith. We got Warloff saying what's up. So he ended up coming back. Appreciate you for coming back here. Excuse me for a minute, guys. Gotta take care of that. I apologize for having to do that on camera. But let's see. He's saying 7-0. Flex on him. There we go. 7-0. Should I trade Pollard for Eckler? Eckler is proven, I assume is what he meant. Pollard doesn't seem to have that. I feel Zeke was wearing down defenses down, and Pollard capitalized on the tired defenses. I would absolutely do this. Pollard for Eckler, straight up. I'll take my chances with Eckler. He said also trade Mostert for Money and Herbert. If you can get Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery for Mostert, I would do that. I would try to get somebody else besides Herbert, possibly though. Jameson Williams, Rashid Rice, Josh Downs. Maybe not someone might not be able to get them coming off good games, but someone like that. Even a Jalen Warren, I'd rather have over Khalil Herbert at the moment. Coming back from that high ankle sprain, we've seen Foreman. It could just be a nasty split in that backfield when he comes back to it. And then again, Mostert's going to have the split with Achane. I think they're still both viable. But yeah, I mean, if you can get Monty in another piece, I don't mind trading Mostert there. Calvis is saying his running backs are Kamara, Jacobs, Taylor, and his handcuff and Moss and Pierce. Considering the wideouts I listed earlier, should I make any moves? He also has Allen and Kittle, and just swooped up Kincaid. So nice Kincaid swoop there. Allen, I'm assuming, is Keenan Allen, and I don't remember exactly. Let's see. T. Hill, Nico Godwin, and Rice, and Christian Watson's. That's a good question. Should he make any moves? I mean, you always want to try to be making moves, but Kamara, Jacobs, Taylor, you have Moss, you have Damian Pierce. I think you're kind of good. I mean, you want to see if you can entertain something, maybe package Jacobs and Pierce to get another piece, but really, oh yeah, Jonathan Taylor earlier, in that top 7. So, yeah, he's up there as well too in top 10. I can't get him in my 5, but he's in the 10 as well. But yeah, so, ooh, yeah, I would try, like, if anything, Jacobs and Pierce, maybe you could package together and get somebody. I mean, I don't know if you can maybe put Jacobs and Pierce together to get Eckler. If the Eckler owner's kind of down on him right now, but I don't know why he would take Jacobs and Pierce. You're kind of just trading one of the same for two of the same that are kind of lesser ceilings. You may have to throw one of those receivers. Maybe if you're looking to get off of Christian Watson, maybe you put Watson, Jacobs, and Pierce together and see if that package would get Eckler. Other than that, I mean, you're probably not getting CMC. I mean, maybe you can get Brees Hall. I don't know why the Brees Hall owner would get off him, just coming off the bye. But maybe Eckler, like he might be that one piece that people are willing to kind of move off of that you might be able to take advantage of. So I would do something like that. Watson, Jacobs, Pierce for Eckler. Let's see if you can get that done. All right. We'll keep it moving here. We got Super C&B Challengers. What's up, man? Welcome back. Just got offered JT for Aaron Jones and Kincaid. He picked up Kincaid like 10 minutes ago, but he has Ingram, so there's really no value to him there. Offered JT. Yeah, Aaron Jones, that injury keeps kind of lingering there. JT's, getting better, getting worked in that offense more, especially if you're not really attached to Kincaid right now. Then, yeah, I'd go ahead and pull off that trade. I'll take JT for Aaron Jones and Kincaid, probably 11 times out of 10. So go get it done. Oh, Calfista said it was Josh Allen. Oh, so let me go back to that. Where was that? Oh, he has Allen, Kittle, and Swoop Kincaid. Oh, okay. So Josh Allen and Kittle as far as to go with his running backs and wide receivers. Okay. So yeah, I think that still all stands. I would have much rather have been Keenan Allen though, because then your wide receivers would have been a little better. But yeah, you would have listed him there. So I apologize. Now that you say that, there we go. So Super CMB says, "All right, appreciate it." So yeah, you're welcome, man. So it looks like finally got caught up here with the chats. Again, you guys got any other questions or anything? Drop it in there. Of course, we'll get to it. For now, I will go ahead and move on to my Thursday night start sit preview. We got Bucks at Bills. Bills come in as 8.5-point favorites with the 43 point over under. As far as injuries go, obviously Bills are without Dawson Knox, dealing with that wrist injury. So that's why I've been talking about Kincaid here. You have no other injuries, I believe, to worry about on the Bills, just Dawson Knox. On the other side of the ball, with the Buccaneers, you have Mayfield and Godwin. They both did practice fully today, though. They're listed as questionable, but based on what they're saying, Godwin's fine, Mayfield's fine, a little ankle that he was dealing with. And so they both look like they're going to be ready to go here for Thursday night. As far as quarterbacks go, obviously you're starting Josh Allen. You're probably sitting Baker Mayfield in most of your 1 QB leagues. As far as running backs go, Rashad White was in a discussion with 7 Rings earlier. He's a tough one. Really just kind of depends on what your options are. Like more as like a flex. If you're really in a situation to have him as your RB2, then you got to throw him in there. Even if he is your flex, don't put him in the flex. Still put him in that RB spot, but he's technically your flex. So you're encouraged by, what he was able to do last week, getting the additional targets. So you just want to hope, he finds the end zone if he can. The Bills are susceptible to pass catching running backs. They have given up a lot of points there, but they have been one of the better defenses just against rushing running backs, guys kind of running up the middle between the tackles. So I don't like him as a pure rusher, but the fact that he does have that pass catching upside, Baker Mayfield's been known to check down to his running backs almost more than any of the active quarterbacks that have been out there. Looks like Carr's taken over that position for him now, but he's someone definitely to consider here because of that, especially if Godwin's maybe banged up a little bit, maybe and not getting separation. Maybe Baker looks to get it to White a little more. Also, and if you and I know about this, I would assume that these millionaire scouts know that the Bills are susceptible to these pass catching running backs and use that as like an extension of the run game. So hopefully they're paying attention to those things. And you also like the fact that, the defenses are usually the ones a little more banged up on these short weeks. So now that I'm talking about it, I'd go ahead and start White if you can. If you have the ability to, if you don't have any other better options, clear options to start ahead of him, he's someone I wouldn't mind taking a shot on. You do have got to keep your eye on who was it that just got activated off the IR there? Chase Edmonds. So Chase Edmonds might be coming back. The only sad part is the only thing Chase Edmonds has kind of been decent at was catching the ball also. They're kind of almost carbon copies of one another. So we'll see if that does affect him. Maybe not so much this week, but maybe ongoing. James Cook, you're starting on the Bill side of the ball as far as running backs go. You might be able to squeeze in Latavius Murray as a potential flex play in case he ends up getting a goal line carry there. Other than that, you're obviously starting Diggs, you're starting Evans, Godwin. Maybe you can sit if you have better options, but most of the time you're probably forced to start him. So tight ends, you're sitting Cade Otton, and on the Bill side, you're definitely firing up Kincaid. So yeah, there we go. And I don't even know where this it seems like I'm almost getting sick here as we're talking. I didn't even have any of this earlier, so I don't know where all this runny nose is coming from here. So I apologize, guys. So yeah, that should pretty much wrap it up for Thursday night football. So there we go. Let's see what else we got in the chat here. A couple things came in. Warrior Loft is saying, how do you feel about Foreman if Roschon Johnson is active this weekend? Will Donta Foreman get the majority of the opportunities, maybe 60-40? I honestly feel Roschon is overhyped. He was a QB before running back. So Warrior, just coming off this kind of severe concussion that he had, he's still not technically out of the protocol, but he's been cleared to practice and technically logged a full practice today, whatever that, kind of entails. So, I'd say he's on track to play. I don't think he comes in and, gets 75+% of this backfield. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. If anything, it'll probably be 60-40 Foreman, especially with him coming off a 3-touchdown game, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air. So could have had really a 4-touchdown game if they didn't do the QB sneak and just turn around and gave it to Foreman. He could have really had a nice day. So I'm with you. I think for this week, you're probably still okay with Foreman. I think I'm starting him in a couple spots just because I'm in one of those kind of situations with my running backs. I did have a lot of Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins kind of out there. Those were 2 guys I was definitely targeting in a lot of my builds. So I've been trying to play that catch-up game. So finding guys like Foreman to come in and put 30 has been nice. So I think Foreman's good for this week, and then we'll kind of just see how he looks if he does play this week, and then we'll be able to have this discussion more next week. So there we go. We got Mr. Bakes-A-Lot in the house. What's up, Mr. Bakes-A-Lot? How's it going, man? Says, what's up, my brother? Glad you could make it out here tonight with us. You got anything? Drop it in the chat. And of course, we'll get to it. Thoughts on Taysom Hill? Worth the pick up and play? You guys know that's Frank's guy. I wish he was here to answer this question. I think he showed up on the injury report, so something just to kind of keep an eye on. I believe he's dealing with the chest injury right now. So he was technically limited because they didn't want him, getting any contact, but I'm pretty sure he said he's going to be playing this week. So again, just something to kind of keep an eye on. You do have Jawan Johnson coming back as well too. Looks like he might be on track to play for his first time after dealing with, I believe it was like either a hamstring or a calf that's been just plaguing him for longest time. I don't think he's played yet this season. So just something to keep your eye on there. If any week would have been the week, you guys should all listen to Frank last week saying to fire him up. You guys might have saw our little short that we did and put out there. He was starting him in a couple places and got rewarded. He even had to throw him in as a quarterback in one of the places because he had a guy on bye week and was able to squeeze out like 18 points there. So that's not bad for a tight end in your quarterback position with that dual eligibility. Again, if you're just kind of streaming a tight end, just like Frank always says, he just has a nose for the end zone. He gets those high value touches, and he has big play, ability. And the most intriguing part is the fact that he's been just used on like intermediate routes, like 5-yard outs, little post ends, from the slot or tight end position. Kind of playing more like a big slot versus an actual true tight end. They don't really have him out there blocking. He will here and there, but usually if he's on the field, like the ball's kind of going to him. So, and the defenses can't stop it for whatever reason. So, he's able to produce. If you're in a weird little situation, I mean, we don't have anybody on bye this week, but if you kind of just want a dart throw to throw out there, then you could take a chance on him. Especially I think Gerald Everett's a little banged up right now. If you missed out on Kincaid, Luke Musgrave's, banged up right now. A lot of these streaming options, Logan Thomas. Maybe I play Logan Thomas over him, but he's so up and down. I think there's a little more consistency, interestingly enough, with Hill. So why not, man? I don't think I could get myself to do something like that just because I don't know. I don't really mind so much at the tight end position. So actually, I don't know why I don't try to go after him every once in a while, but just I at least want my tight end to be someone who kind of gets, is a more traditional type tight end. But maybe I need to open my thinking to that. So, who knows? But yeah, if you need to, give it a try. I know Frank would be all for it. Calvista saying, should I start Kittle or Kincaid stack with Allen? I'd probably go Kincaid just to see. I mean, he's been getting 5 to 6 targets a game. Same with Knox, about 5 to 7 targets between the two of them. He could see maybe 10 plus targets, and if he gets that 10 plus targets from Josh Allen in that offense, yeah, I'll take that. He does look for that tight end position. A lot of people, of course, are covering Diggs in that end zone. Gabe Davis only knows how to run deep, so you don't really have to worry about him in the red zone. Like when he scores, it's going to be from like 40 or 40 plus out. So you always see Dawson Knox getting those red zone targets. I wish I had the exact numbers here for you. I'm sure we could go find them. But yeah, so make sure you I would take that chance. We don't know what's going on with Kittle with the Purdy situation. I don't know what kind of chemistry he has with Darnold. Maybe he leans on him. With of course Devo being out, he should see an uptick in targets. He could have had a bigger game last week. Obviously, Purdy missed him on a couple throws, sailed it high, a couple interceptions when targeting Kittle. Again, you guys keep asking me these questions that involve me having to bring up my Niners, man. I don't like that. I need them to get a win this week. So there we go. So Warriors just saying thanks. And then we got Roberto here saying Amari Cooper, Rashee Weiss, Christian Watson, or Foreman at his wide receiver 2 and flex. So basically pick 2 out of these guys. Or if I pick Foreman, it has to be a flex. So I got to pick 1 wide receiver at least first. If I to go 1 wide receiver there, even with PJ Walker. Let me look at this. Cleveland Browns go up against Seattle. They have pretty good secondary there. They just got Frank Clark back too. Put a little more pressure on PJ. Kansas City going up against this Broncos defense who's been improving. Christian Watson, kind of just been up and down, or just normal and down. Hasn't really been up all the way yet. Oh, going up against the Vikings. Might have been the fellows over there. At home, I would probably rank him Rice, Watson, Cooper as far as the wide receivers. I'd like to get Foreman in, especially if Roshan's out again. But even if he's limited, he's probably going to be on a snap count. If you're looking for a floor, go Foreman. If you're looking for like total boomer busts, go Rice and Watson. If not, go Watson and Foreman. But yeah, it's going to be hard to get away from that Rishi Rice against Denver. That's tough. That really is tough. I think the easy sit is Cooper, and then just your choice who you feel more comfortable between Rice and Watson, and then I think I'd stick Foreman in there as my flex. So there we go, Roberto. Hopefully that works out for you, bro. And I'm starting all those guys in some combination in my league, so I'll be rooting for you for those guys for sure. So there we go. Let's get on to some news and notes here. We kind of mentioned a lot of them here, so I'll try to just run through it as quickly as possible. So our news topics and injury updates. I mentioned it. Brock Purdy started feeling some concussion-like symptoms on the plane ride home from Minnesota. They officially put him in the protocol. They are saying that he does have enough time to clear the protocol to be able to play this Sunday against the Bengals. If not, it is going to be Sam Darnold rolling out this weekend. So, hopefully it clears it, but just something to, keep your eye on, and could potentially downgrade Ayuk and Kittle potentially there. Probably a big uptick for Christian McCaffrey. He'll probably just check down to him more so than trying to make those throws that Purdy's been making, let alone he throws a pick right away. Then he's really going to probably clam up and, start seeing ghosts, I guess. God, I can't believe we have him on our team. Anyway, so that's Brock Purdy news. We'll, of course, keep you posted on Friday and let you guys know how things are going. That might come down to Sunday morning, but hopefully we get word by Saturday. If he hasn't cleared by Saturday, you can pretty much assume Darnold's going to be starting. Some clarity on Deshaun Watson's injury. The doctors told him that he has a strain of the subscapularis, if I'm even saying that right. Hopefully you got some doctors in the chat here who could help me out there with that pronunciation. It's within the rotator cuff, and he continues to have both pain and weakness with movement. They're saying this type of injury in baseball normally causes pitchers to miss about 4 to 6 weeks. Watson continues to work to regain his strength and velocity in his shoulder and try to shorten that window. But as of now, he has been ruled out for Week 8 against Seattle, and PJ Walker was actually activated now to the active roster, the 53-man, after getting called up, I believe, 3 times from the practice squad is all you can do. So now he's officially on the 53-man roster, and will get the start here in Week 8. You have the Titans are preparing to be without Tannehill. They're prepping QB Will Levis to get the start on Sunday. The second rounder should make his NFL debut. Again, Tannehill dealing with that high ankle. He's most likely going to be out, but they haven't officially ruled him out. And Vrabel said that both Levis and Willis will play. So it looks like they might have Malik Willis in kind of that Taysom Hill type role, just to maybe slow things down a bit for Levis, but it'll be nice to just see what we have in this rookie. And yeah, but Levis is expected to be the primary. So just kind of keep that in mind. Definitely puts a hindrance on D-Hop's output unless Levis comes in and starts throwing that thing around. Let's see. Justin Jefferson dealing with the hamstring. He's halfway through the 4-week minimum on IR. Kevin O'Connell today said the process just needs to play out. He needs to make sure that Justin feels ready to go when that time comes, and we will see when that is. He says, I hope to get him back as soon as possible. So that's what you like to hear for those of us who either drafted or traded for Justin Jefferson when he got injured, or if you're holding on to him. you know, uh, you want to hear that kind of news instead of that whole 4 to 6, and we'll reevaluate in 4, and it could be a little later to get him ramped up. You want to hear he's going to be ready to go. So hopefully we can hear that progress as we get moving forward. We have TJ Hawkinson. He didn't practice today, dealing with that foot injury. He did return to the game, so probably just more precautionary, taking it easy. Eagles did not list their quarterback Jalen Hurts on the injury report. He's expected to start Sunday versus Washington, despite wearing a knee brace for the second half over the win in Miami, or over Miami. So yeah, it looks like he's ready to go. Surprisingly, Kyler Murray is listed as a full participant in today's practice. Remember, they do have until week 10 to have him back to the active roster. Remember, he hasn't had any preseason, anything like that. They're not going to put him out there unless they know he can protect himself, get himself out of harm's way, and not have any risk of re-injury there, or compensation injury, is what you have to worry about also if you're trying to come back too soon from an ACL. You usually get a hamstring or quad, something else that may go again as a compensation injury from rehabbing that ACL. Falcons running back Bijan Robinson, who we've talked about here a little bit already tonight, was a full participant in practice today. After practice, he did address his whole sickness and headaches thing. I didn't listen to it. Like I said, I thought it was all kind of weird. Either way, I'm looking to move forward on that, and I'm just going to pretend like that all didn't happen. And I'm firing up Bijan like I normally would. I'm just going to put that out of my memory. We have Jags wide receiver Zay Jones. He's the only one who didn't practice today, dealing with the knee injury. Not only did he not practice, he wasn't even in the locker room from what they saw. So maybe he's getting treatment, something else, second opinion, something outside the facility. But he's, again, came back from that knee injury and then re-injured it partway through that game, couldn't finish, and has been out the last 2 games. So fire up Christian Kirk. Hopefully really gets his stuff together. And, Trevor Lawrence definitely missed Zay Jones as well, because he was doing a lot better with Zay in the lineup when he had all 3 of his weapons available to him, and instead of when Zay's been down. Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf was a full participant today. We all know he missed his first game of his career last Sunday, dealing with that hip and rib issue. He said he's ready to go. He's playing this Sunday, so shouldn't have anything to worry about there. You have the Giants running back, Saquon Barkley. Remember, he injured the elbow, I believe, on the second drive of the game, and he was limited in practice today, but looking like he's on track to play. Tyler Lockett showed up on the injury report with a hamstring, and Ken Walker dealing with the calf. They did not practice today, so just keep that in mind. And we were kind of talking about Charbonnet earlier, who's returning from injury, himself. He just came back last week. You have 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel dealing with that shoulder, with that hairline fracture that he's dealing with. He's not expected to play. They're saying Trent Williams, who's dealing with that high ankle, has a chance to practice tomorrow and play this Sunday. They just didn't want to take the risk on that Minnesota turf, so they were just being a little more precautious, and you could definitely tell when Trent's not in the game. Trent Williams is basically the best player on the Niners, skill positions included, even over McCaffrey. But I mean, I guess McCaffrey still did okay without Trent, but I know he likes having Trent in there. So hopefully, we get our guys back and can make this run. Packers wide receiver Christian Watson, he practiced in full today, dealing with his knee, so he's good to go. Shouldn't have any issues with him. However, running back Aaron Jones still dealing with that hamstring, saying he's not 100%. He did not play today. Matt LaFleur came out and said he's not on why he's not practicing. Says he's just a little bit sore. He said that's to be expected. Hopefully, we can ramp him up and get more snaps out there. So, he's trying to play on it, not 100%. You want to see him back healthy, and hopefully that'll be good for this whole offense. Lastly, on the Packers, Luke Musgrave, like we mentioned earlier, they're saying he's not in a concussion protocol, just has his ankle injury, and he did not practice today either. But again, it's just Wednesday, so a lot of this stuff, really tomorrow and Friday are the 2 more important practices. Chargers wide receiver Josh Palmer, He's considered day-to-day with a knee injury, something that happened in Sunday's game. I didn't quite see it, but he's considered day-to-day, so he should be playing. Ooh, excuse me there. All right, so Dolphins running back Raheem Mostert did not practice today either. He is dealing with an ankle injury, so just keep that in mind. Also, older guy, so maybe just a vet day, something like that. You have Panthers running back Miles Sanders, I mentioned earlier, dealing with that shoulder and lingering groin. He was listed as a full participant today. And then Bears running back Roshan Johnson, dealing with that concussion, did practice in full today, but has not cleared the concussion protocol yet. Tyreek Hill, I apologize. I said I was going to get to it right in the beginning. So Tyreek Hill, he missed practice Wednesday with the hip injury, is what it came out to be. Tua had a lot to say about it after practice. He said no one can emulate what Tyreek does on the field. If we couldn't have Tyreek, that would be tough, but the show goes on. We've got to continue to play. Somewhere down the line, we're going to get Tyreek back. So hopefully it's nothing crazy. We've known and seen him to have cramps and stuff like that, play on ankle injuries, things like that. But yeah, these hip injuries are a little tough. He's not that big of a guy, so maybe when he got tackled or something, it kind of hurt his hip there. So just something to keep your eye on, and hopefully it's not anything long term. But from what it sounds like, he may miss a week. But again, it's just Wednesday, so we'll keep our eyes on it. Browns don't have or do not plan to play Jerome Ford, who's dealing with that high ankle sprain, on injured reserve at this time. They're saying he's responded well to the early treatment. They're expecting him just to miss about 1 to 2 weeks with a low-grade high ankle sprain. So again, Kareem Hunt looks to be in line there. And then you have Pierre Strong backing up. Hunt should get a couple carries there. And I think we mentioned he outsnapped him 23-19 just last week, as Hunt has only been here for a few weeks, coming off his couch. So, I don't know if they expect him to take on a full workload yet, but maybe they might ramp him up this week out of necessity. Lastly here, Cardinals tight end Zach Ertz, dealing with the strained quad. He was placed on IR yesterday and will miss a minimum of 4 games. So that wraps up your news and notes. Let's get into the chat here and see what we got. And I might just run through a couple of these names here because my nose is running like crazy and it's already late. So I might have to cut this one a little early tonight. But let's see. Let's get into the live Q&A chat. So we just had Roberto saying thanks when asking him, or when I was answering this question about Amari, Rice, Watson, and Foreman to start 2 there. And we got Brooks in the house. What's up, Brooks? He says, what's up, Rasta? You still picking Watson over White? Also, Savon Ahmed worth picking up. Mostert seems injured. So if Mostert's hurt, it's going to be probably Ahmed and Jeff Wilson over there. I might like Jeff Wilson a little more, but maybe Ahmed's the more healthier one. So definitely could be worth a pickup. But unless you're really kind of looking to start him, right now, I wouldn't kind of chase that whole thing. Just have him to have him kind of thing. I know, I've been talking a lot about your guys there, so you have some other guys that you could probably keep over someone like Ahmed. As far as Watson over White, I did kind of talk about this and mentioned you at the top of the show. If you want to go back and rewind it there, I kind of started talking to myself a little more into White, and with this Bills matchup, if you really want to get him in there, again, I think like I was telling you, that's the time to do it. But if you want, a potential boom or bust play there, you just have to understand what that bust side could be. But Watson, any week could explode here and have a big time game. We know he can score anytime he touches the ball. So one little mistake by the defense, one step off, and he could be hitting his head on the goalpost. So, again, just depends on your whole lineup there. But I still think I'm leaning slightly Watson over White. But if you want a little more floor, he should have a good game this week, and you hope he gets in the end zone. So, and with Godwin a little banged up, maybe they use White as an extension of the running game there. You'd like to see, 5 to 8 targets at least. And then I think it would be worth it. If you can guarantee me like 8 targets, then I'd say start White over Watson. But if Watson's getting 8 targets, I'd probably still take Watson over White. So it's just a little tough. It could go either way. So good luck to you, whoever you decide. We still got a couple days. I guess not. You got like 24 hours, less than 24 hours to make that decision. So I'm sure you'll be DMing me tomorrow, and we'll talk about it then. I'll sleep on it and let you know how I feel. We got Conrad in the house. What's up, Connie Bo? He says, I offered someone Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams for Devonta Smith and Tony Pollard. His wide receivers as of now are Devontae Adams, Amon-Ra, Lave, Puka. So I don't mind not having Devontae Adams if you can get the upgrade at running back. I don't know if Pollard's technically an upgrade over Aaron Jones when healthy. Like if you're talking both of them healthy based on what we've seen, like Aaron Jones, his one healthy week, he was the RB1. And that offense looked much better with him at 100%. He's clearly not 100% right now. And I think it's such a downgrade between Adams and Devonta Smith. It's not worth that upgrade for Pollard. Like if you're going to go Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, try to get like Kamara, maybe Eckler you can buy low on right now. I would shoot a little higher, Jonathan Taylor maybe. Who are some of those other guys that we mentioned in our top 5 to 7? Maybe ETN. I don't know if you can get him. But yeah, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones for ETN. And another wide receiver with the ones that you have already. I'd much rather do something like that. You can call me not the biggest Pollard fan. You can go back and look at my videos when we were drafting in the offseason. I wasn't just real big, not only because I'm a Niners fan and I can't stand the Cowboys. I just wasn't big on this Cowboys offense heading into this year with Mike McCarthy calling the plays, them wanting to be a little more run heavy. Obviously, losing Zeke seems to have affected Pollard, but I didn't know that back then. I just thought they were going to run less plays and didn't think they would be as effective in pretty tough defensive division that they'd have to face. So I didn't really like their schedule very much. So I kind of faded a lot of Pollard, and I'm pretty happy I did so far. So even Frank would tell you, Pollard hasn't really been that guy right now. So yeah, and then you got to look at their schedule. They got their schedule's pretty tough. So they get the Rams now, but then they get Eagles, then they get Giants, which is nice. Panthers, nice. Commanders, I guess, is nice. So you kind of got like another month of him being good. And then you face the Seahawks defense with now Frank Clark, like we mentioned. Then you get Eagles, and that's the end of your season. So if you need like a win those 2 weeks, that's going to be a little tough. Then for your first week of the playoffs, they're going up against Buffalo Bills. Then going up against Miami, which they can have a negative game script there in your semifinal. And then going up against one of the top rushing defenses. They were a little exposed this last weekend. But in the Detroit Lions in your championship game, one of the top rushing defenses right now. So, yeah, I mean, that's just something I'm not quite looking forward to. So that's just me. I'd rather stick it out with Jones and Devontae or try to target someone like Eckler or something like that. So hopefully that helps you out. But again, if you want those guys and you feel good on them, then go get them, man. Play fantasy football with the guys you like, not who I like. And just because it's not for me doesn't mean it's not for you. And I'm not always 100% right, as everybody knows. So, yeah, give me a second here, guys. I'm going to take a little sip of water here. I don't know why my nose just started running right when I hit live. That's the craziest thing to me. Anyway. All right, so we got Cadillac in the house. What's up, Cadillac? Trade Rashawn White for Connor? I probably would. I would. With Connor coming back, you just hope he comes back to that backfield. And hopefully DeMarcado and Ingram and whoever else is part of that backfield is not doing anything. And, I don't mind that type of trade for the end stretch there. Connor was putting up some good numbers. Let me see what the Cardinals' schedule looks like here. Actually, maybe not. His playoff schedule is Niners, Bears, and then Eagles, which I knew because of my whole Kyler Murray takes. Those are tough rushing defenses and just tough defenses in general to go up against. let's see if Rashad White's schedule's any better. So he gets Buffalo this week, Texans, Titans, Niners, Colts, Panthers, Falcons, and then playoffs are Packers, Jags, and then Saints in the finals. A little better there. So again, you just hope White could potentially turn it around. But if you're just looking for more like a, mid to low end RB2 during playoff time, then you can go for Connor. Hopefully you have two better guys, ahead of him already, and that's just your running back 3. But yeah, so there we go. We got Tycoon in the house. What's up, Tycoon? He's saying no, Tyreek, no. So yeah, probably in response to that whole hip injury there. So that's a little tough. I should have seen if you can come on with me here tonight, Tycoon. Make sure you guys go check out the Fantasy Boardroom for Tycoon. It's the links in the chat, links in the description. So make sure you guys go throw him a sub as well if you're watching right now. Help him out. He's always here supporting us, man, answering your questions in our sleeper thread and all that. So there we go. So Cadillac said, I made this trade earlier. Pacheco, Olave, Ramondre for Keenan, Rashad, and Henderson. Pacheco was his RB4. If you really needed the kind of wide receiver upgrade, so to speak, from Keenan to Olave, then that works. Otherwise, I mean, I'd much rather have Pacheco, Ramondre, and Keenan. So if you could package like maybe Olave and Ramondre for just Keenan only and kept Pacheco, I think I would have liked that a little better. But again, if you like those guys better than, the ones you gave up, just, we've been talking about Rashad here and Henderson probably losing his job when Kyron Williams comes back. So you probably did it, for Keenan, and you weren't feeling Olave at the moment. I'm not out on Olave yet. I still think he has more to come. I still think Ramondre I can do some stuff here, and Pacheco's been, just fine for where you drafted him. So I'd say it's probably like a C, in my opinion. But you didn't get like screwed or anything like that. And like I said, if you'd rather have those guys, then good for you, man. Trade Jacobs or Gibbs to get Hawkinson. He dislikes having to stream tight end. Yeah, streaming tight end's not for the faint at heart. If you don't like that, then I would just spend one of those top picks on Kelsey or Andrews. Or maybe if you got lucky and got Laporta super late, if you're watching us here at Get Right at the time, Smokey, off season, when we do our Friday night mocks and our mock draft tournament and all that good stuff, you would have been all over our Laporta train here. But if you wanted to trade one of those guys to get Hawkinson, I mean, he's definitely worth the pick. I would maybe go Gibbs over Jacobs just because Jacobs isn't really sharing with anyone. Like doesn't have a David Montgomery coming back there. So, I mean, if you want to throw Jacobs for Hawkinson, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it if you don't like streaming that tight end. Just remember, everyone's streaming tight end, like except for the Kelsey owner. Like unless you're playing like Kelsey, unless you're playing maybe Andrews or Hawkinson or like Laporta. That's like 4 teams you got to like worry about. Otherwise, you're pretty much in the same situation as everybody else with their tight end. You're just hoping they score a touchdown or get like a busted play. So I don't know what you should just learn to like streaming tight end a little more. It just makes the weeks go by a little easier. You don't have to worry about it. You just throw in Njoku one day and Tyler Higbee the next day and little Jonnu Smith here and maybe someone dropped Goddard. I had Goddard drop several places. I picked him up, throw him in every once in a while. Just stuff like that. Makes it fun. I'd much rather hang out on my running backs, but yeah, if you're gonna get someone, Hawkinson's right there. So I don't mind it. Tycoon said he wouldn't have been able to come on anyway, sadly. So it's all good, man. That's cool. He said glad to catch the end though, at least. Yeah, not bad. And I don't know if you've been noticing here, I keep wiping my nose and kind of doing these sniffles. It literally started as soon as I hit go live. I was fine all the way up until then. Came out here to the studio, got all set up. I don't know, maybe it's the dust or something. Maybe because I don't have my AC on anymore. It's starting to actually cool down in the desert here now. Finally, I think it was like only like 100 or like 97 today or something like that. And yeah, it's actually under 70 right now, which is strange for me at 11:30. Yeah, all of a sudden I got these sniffles, man. I don't know what's going on here. So either way, Tycoon's telling Smokey, I get that, but to be honest, I don't think I would. Streaming tight end sucks, but the ceiling that remains for them is still higher than what Hawk will give you. You can survive, though, with streaming. So yeah, basically he said what I said, just a lot more concise. So there we go. Oh, you saying I caught something at the event? That very well could have happened, man. And then at one point they told us like to all get up and like squish even closer together. So anti-COVID at that point. So yeah, they're just like, get as close as you can to people so we can fit as many people in here as we can. I was like, oh, get away from me. So yeah, I could have. You're right. You might be right, Tycoon. You might be right. Yeah. Gotta get some meds in me. All right, so we'll try to do this last part quick and try to get out of here. But we'll do some buy sell holds. As you guys know, what we've been doing lately, I've been bringing up the most traded list. Guys that have been most traded according to CBSSports.com. So this isn't maybe in all the leagues, but some of them here. So we'll just go through kind of some of the top guys, top names that we're thinking about. And I'll just let you know if I'm buying, selling, or holding these guys. So the number one traded quarterback right now, according to CBS, is CJ Stroud. As far as CJ Stroud goes, I'm holding him. I don't know who I would sell him for, like maybe Burrow. I probably wouldn't sell him for Trevor Lawrence. Probably just rather stick with Stroud. He does get Tennessee twice in the playoffs. I mean, if you could find the right deal, I mean, I'd really only kind of try to get to one of the trio guys. Otherwise, I think you kind of hit gold unless he hits kind of like a rookie wall. If you can maybe get Burrow, I would try to do it. Otherwise, I'm pretty much holding. Matt Stafford, kind of similar to Stroud. You would just hope Stafford, he's like the Goff of last year. He'd, throw it to Puka and Cup and they get to within the 5 and they just turn around and give it to Kyron Williams or Darrell Henderson or whoever is the running back that week. And hasn't thrown for 2 touchdowns yet. So if I have Stafford in a most likely a super flex league, I don't think in a 12-team league he really matters as much. But like in super flex, I don't mind him as my QB2. I'll definitely hold on to him, with Puka and Cup as weapons and still with Higbee there. I think the touchdown regression to the mean is coming. You have Brock Purdy or Jared Goff. I'm sorry. Jared Goff sitting here as the 3rd most traded quarterback right now, coming off kind of a bad week. So I could see why maybe people are trying to sell him high off to somebody else. Maybe people see he's a buy low at the moment. For me, I'm holding on to him for the most part. Again, if I can trade up, I'd look for it. But in all reality, who you able to get at the moment? If you can turn him and something else, like Jalen Hurts, if that manager's kind of struggling. But again, I don't know who really would. Maybe in your more casual leagues, you could do something like that. But yeah, otherwise it's kind of hard to trade for these quarterbacks. Brock Purdy, I probably have is probably a hold or sell in a 2 QB league if you can. He looks like a rookie again, but you want him to get Debo back, have all his weapons, get Trent Williams back, and I think he can go back to putting up those 2 touchdowns a game. But that could be the fan of me talking. You do have Tua Tagovailoa and Joe Burrow to kind of round out this list here, and Jordan Love, Dak Prescott, just to name them. So Tua, I'm definitely holding and buying if you can. If you can turn Goff or CJ Stroud into Tua, I mean, I think it's too late for that. But if you can, whoever has Tua probably has 2 quarterbacks already, so maybe they're willing to move off one of them. And then Jordan Love, I'm trying to sell. I've been telling you guys that since week 1, and when he started blowing up, I was like, just go ahead and trade him now if you can. If you traded Love for Burrow, you're in a good spot, I think, coming down the stretch here. And then Joe Burrow is right here in between Tua and Love, just because of the way he started. Coming off a bye week, kind of out of sight, out of mind. He should be more healed up after having the week off, 2 weeks since his last game. And he is coming up against my Niners, so maybe people might be looking to get out of him at the moment. So I'm definitely holding and buying Joe Burrow if I can. So we'll move on to running backs here. James Cook, the most traded running back right now, according to CBS Sports. If I have James Cook, I would try to sell him right now if I could. Try to trade up, package him, get someone like Eckler, some of these running backs we've been talking about. Probably not getting Kamara based on the week he came off of. Joe Mixon. I'd like to buy Joe Mixon. I think he has better days ahead. Hasn't really been producing as much, but hasn't been producing really that bad either. He's not a top 5 running back, but I think he could be like top 15 rest of the season. So if you didn't have to give up much, to get him, if you can get one of these waiver wire guys, I don't think I would trade Mostert for him because I think Mostert in a split backfield could still potentially outproduce Mixon here, but he has no competition for touches. He's in a high-powered offense. Jamar Chase, somebody just gets, T. Higgins coming back. If they, get pass interference or something, get down within the 5, remember he had a 5-touchdown game and just kind of blew up after that to finish the season strong after we were talking about, dropping him or trading him off around this time last year. So Mixon, someone that I definitely would take a chance on. Again, no guarantees with any of this, but someone that I feel is in a situation that, I'd want to be having a piece of. Dameon Pierce. If I have Dameon Pierce, I'm trying to sell him if I can, trying to package him. Just hasn't produced like we thought, not getting all the work. Dar Gumbawale and, even Devin Singletary lately has been doing pretty well there and just eating into his volume, which is what we were hoping he had when we drafted him. So if I can sell him and package him while you still can, I will. Ramondre Stevenson. We've talked about him a lot here. He is the 4th most traded running back at the moment. We've seen why. If I can, I wouldn't mind buying him. I'm not trying to target him, but if I can get him back in a trade, as far as, with somebody else, if I was really targeting another piece and I can get Stevenson plus that other piece I'm looking for, he's definitely someone I'm willing to take in on my roster and hold if I do have him, which I do have him in several spots, and I've been fine kind of without him. And again, I think I mentioned it earlier. He's only had really 3 bad games and 4, good games. 4 games scoring 14 or more PPR points and 3 bad games under double digits. The problem is that floor was like 2.4 in a PPR league, which is pretty rough. So, just 3 consecutive weeks like that, it was bad. You've had these last 2 weeks, which have been more bounce back. The offense has looked, much better as well. So hopefully you can keep that going. Jerome Ford. He's obviously dealing with that high ankle sprain. If you can sell him now, I will. There's not much more to say on that. You might be forced just to hold him, and I think he'll be fine when he does come back. Might be more of a split between Ford and Hunt, but you probably expected that once Hunt got fully up to speed and into game shape, full game shape anyway. So yeah, if I can sell Jerome Ford right now, I would. If not, you're probably forced to hold. And then, excuse me, Alexander Madison. The last 3 here: Madison, Harris, and White. We've talked about these guys. I have them all. I have Madison as a sell, Najee as a sell, Rashad White as a hold or sell. And I've talked about White extensively throughout the show, so I won't go more there. We do have an honorable mention here with Derrick Henry. Of course, if he does get traded to Baltimore, should be in a much better situation behind a much better line than where he's currently at now. He may not get the full usage, that we're used to see him getting, being in a whole new offense, new coordinator. But if they're trying to make like a run and get him acclimated, I'm sure they know, and they like to run the ball. So that'd be a great landing spot for Derrick Henry. So I'd like to hold him if you can, unless you can like sell him and get, Eckler or something like that. Otherwise, I'm going to hold off and see what ends up happening there. And so for the sake of time and my nose here, we'll go ahead and move on to the wide receiver position. All right. So the number 1 traded wide receiver right now, Justin Jefferson. So a lot of uncertainty of what can go on with him right now. You have people thinking he might not come back. You have other people thinking he might be back after week 4. Clearly a league winner if you can get your hands on him. To me, he's, of all people, someone you're willing to trade for. So if I'm trying to buy him pretty much everywhere I can, as long as it's not going to make my team completely suffer if he doesn't come back. You have to be in, kind of a set situation. Luckily, a lot of my teams, I draft wide receiver heavy anyway, so I can usually absorb doing a 2-for-1 or even doing 2 wide receivers and a running back for Jefferson if you really needed to. Again, not a high-end running back, but maybe more like a bench or RB3 type guy to get the 101. I mean, why not take your chance on it and see what happens? Let's see. T. Higgins. He's the number 2 guy. Obviously been on a bye week. Been out with that fractured rib. Looks like he's back practicing now. Should be good to go here against the Niners. If you have an opportunity to get Higgins, I would. And so I have him as a buy. And if I already have him, I have him as a hold. I mean, unless you can sell him an upgrade, but I'm not selling low on him. So I have him more as a buy hold. Devonta Smith, I have him as a buy and a hold as well. We've talked about him throughout the show, so I'll save you from the extended talk on him. Puka Nacua, I have him as a buy and a hold as well. I think he's going to be just fine with Cooper Kupp like we've seen. It may alternate back and forth, but hopefully they get to a point where they're both producing. One may totally go off one week, and one's just going to be a nice, normal day. But I think between the two of these guys, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, they should be good fantasy options moving forward. Calvin Ridley, he's so hard. But if you took the name and the situation off the back of his jersey, so to speak, I want to have him as a buy. I'd hate to sell him after you've had him this long, and then he just goes off finally and goes back to where he was week 1. Like I said, I think Zay Jones would really help just overall for this passing offense for Trevor Lawrence and for Ridley. I just think it hurts Kirk more than anybody when Zay gets back healthy, but who knows when that even happens. Again, came in, re-aggravated it, and has been out. Wasn't even in the locker room today. So my head tells me to sell him if you can put him in a package and get something decent in return. Don't sell him pennies on the dollar, maybe at least quarters on the dollar. And he should still carry, attached to a good quarterback and a good offense. He should still carry some good trade value. So if you are going to move him, don't just give him away. Like, don't just fire sell him because you feel like he's going to completely crash and burn. I mean, he already kind of has. If anything, you could just sit him. So yeah, I have him as a hold. I don't know if I'm actively trying to go target him as far as making him a buy. I think it's just more in that kind of hold range and see what happens because we've seen the upside. And then we have Jalen Waddle. Obviously, with this Tyreek news, if he misses any kind of extended time, Waddle should come in and absorb those targets there and could be a huge piece over the next couple weeks while Hill's out. So, yeah, if you can get Waddle in a package, he's been on our list for the last couple weeks. So hopefully you've already acquired him. And if not, maybe you can get something done with him now. And then to round it out, you have Olave, Wilson, and Lamb, and Devontae Adams. So those are all guys that I'm pretty much holding right now. Again, if you can upgrade, but what else are you really going to upgrade to that someone's willing to move off of? You're just kind of trading situations. So unless you just feel like someone's situation's a little better based on what you see or who you want to root for, then go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I'm holding with these guys. They're attached to good quarterbacks, except for Devontae Adams, but that dude's just good himself and will get open as long as a quarterback can get him the ball. Hopefully, you're just hoping for Jimmy G to come back, and we should be good there. So that'll round out our wide receivers. And tight ends, like I always say, you're always trying to get Kelsey or Andrews. Otherwise, just stream your tight end, and you'll be fine. But yeah, Sam Laporta seems to be like the big guy that people are kind of moving right now. So if you drafted another tight end, Andrews and like Laporta, or Kittle and Laporta, Kelsey Laporta, then you can definitely try to package Laporta to somebody that's tired of streaming tight ends. So that'll wrap that up. We'll get into your last chats. So if you have anything else you want to contribute, let me know. Once I get caught up with these chats here, then we're going to call it a night. Let's see here. Where did we leave off? Tycoon said the get away from me made him actually laugh out loud. So I like when we get to do that. Try to be a little entertaining for you guys here. I don't like being around people, if you guys didn't know. Not big crowds like that, and this is why. But we got George in the house saying, should I sell Ken Walker for Austin Eckler? Yes, I would. It looks hard on paper to do it. I would take that chance. Those are the guys you're trying to acquire. Again, this guy was a top 5 pick. I think if we drafted all over again, if he was healthy coming into the year, he would still be probably a top 5 pick. If he was the same age, maybe a little older, he might sink to the bottom of the first round. But, Ken Walker's probably a second round, maybe third round pick if we were to redraft today. But, yeah, I'll take my chances with Eckler there. Smokey the Cat says, last question. Sorry. Debo, a buy? Never be your last question, Smokey. If you ran out of questions, then I wouldn't have anything to do. So please don't tell me it's your last question. I hope you have plenty more. Maybe last question for tonight, if that's all you have. But yeah, keep coming asking questions. No questions are too stupid or shouldn't be asked. That's what I'm here for. That's why I do this. So he says Debo is a buy. Yeah, I'd say I'd go buy Debo if you can. I'm not overpaying for him or anything like that, so it really depends who you want. Tycoon, if you're still watching, or would you trade DJ Moore for Debo right now? When you go look at Debo's numbers, he was putting up good numbers, obviously, until he went out. Double-digit points every game, a couple 20-plus point games as well in there. Obviously does it in the air, does it out of the backfield. Just so versatile player, those screen passes, chunk yardage. Just you have to worry about him getting hurt because he runs so violently. So I would say yes, but again, remember where I come from. I'm a big-time Niner fan over here. But yeah, if I can go get him right now because he's hurt and you can get him for pennies or nickels on the dollar, then that's what I'm looking to do, Smoking the Cat. So let me know. Let me know how that works out. And see, he had already answered it before I even asked. He said he can probably get Debo pretty cheap. He'd buy him. So there we go. Let's see. We got EK. He's saying, dang, caught the stream late. It's not even that late. I've been here for about an hour and a half, but I was an hour late, so that's on me. No Frank today. He's not feeling well. He might have got me sick through the phone, being 450 miles away. But either way, try to stick it out here for you guys, because this is what I like to do, man. Like to do it. Got to have some family time earlier. Support the kiddos and their performances and games and stuff like that, as I've kind of been doing here. But this is definitely my outlet. Love to come talk fantasy football with you guys here. So it's all good. He says, quick question. Would you mind keeping Keenan and Eckler on the same team in my 12 team, trying to ship Adams, B-Rob, Nico in return for Eckler, Pittman? I would start Stroud, Keenan, Pittman, Etienne, Eckler, and Rice. It's a lot to take in there. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I mean, you want to get Eckler, and even if you don't feel, you can always trade off Eckler or Allen after the fact, if you really need to. But I think upgrading, those pieces are good. I hate having to put Adams and Nico Collins in there for Eckler and Pittman. Like, I'd want to get one other piece possibly. I don't think Pittman's enough, and I don't think Eckler's enough for Adams and Nico. Like Adams and Nico for Eckler. And then I can see how you have to put B-Rob to replace his running back at least, but I'd want someone a little better than Pittman, but I haven't been the greatest Pittman guy, so maybe, and I'll have money in my team, and I know he's been doing pretty well. I just don't know how well he's truly been doing. I just don't get a totally great feeling. I think if you take out his 2 big touchdowns that he's had, the 75-yard screen pass and whatever he had this last week, you take those out and he's actually hasn't been doing that well that we all think. But again, you can't just start picking and choosing what plays you take out from people, because he could have had 4 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown and just broke it up instead of just 1 touchdown. So I kind of hate when people use that argument, so I can't use it either. But yeah, I'd rather upgrade at the talent. I'd like to see, and I guess the thing that's hurting me, it's not so much trading off Adams to get Eckler. I think that's kind of okay. You got to replace his running back and B-Rob. To me, it's the Nico pick. See if you can put Rice in there instead of Nico, because I think I'd rather have Nico right now over Rice. I mean, I think Rice's potential ceiling is a little higher with Mahomes, and you heard all the praises I had for Rice earlier. But if you have somebody like Nico, we've seen what that chemistry is and continuing to build with his young quarterback over there and CJ Stroud in that offense. I'm a big DeMeco Ryans fan, of course, coming from my Niners. And you have Stroud already, so you'd have the stack. I'd rather see if I can keep Nico, unless that's the piece he really, really wants. but I assume he wants Adams and that replacement running back a little more. So see if you could throw Rice in there instead, or maybe if you have another wide receiver on your bench, I'd rather throw him in there. Because, yeah, I'd much rather start Stroud, Keenan, Nico, ETN, Eckler. But, I mean, since you have ETN, starting B-Rob with him isn't that big of a deal. I actually have a team that I have. It's funny, I have almost a very similar team where I have Keenan, ETN, and B-Rob as my 3 starters, that core. So I was looking at trying to make a move for Eckler, but I was like, I think I'm good. Like, I didn't want to give up my wide receiver depth there and suffer. And I think, again, when Jimmy G comes back, look at the points he was putting up with Jimmy G before this all kind of happened and before he got that shoulder injury. And then you might rethink that. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe you do Nico, Rice, and B-Rob for just Eckler. Or Eckler and Pittman. See if you could swap out. Yeah, just take out Pittman, give him Rice, Nico, and B-Rob for Eckler is what I would try to do. So anyway, there we go. Smokey said, yeah, for today. So appreciate that. Yeah, don't get away from me now. Don't stop asking your questions now. So there we go. And who else we got here? EK saying, dang, hope Frank feels better. Me too. For sure. He says his current, okay, yeah, that's what his current lineup is. We got that. Tycoon said DJ Moore for Debo. No, so he'd rather keep Debo. But he should be way more affordable than the current wide receiver 6. Yeah, I know you're real big on DJ Moore there. So yeah, for sure. Let's see. Tycoon saying, yeah, that would be an upgrade. So if you can do it, then go ahead and do it. So there we go. He says, yeah, the dude with Eckler's 1 and 6, so he's holding Eckler pretty high because he doesn't have that many pieces. Yeah, I guess so. And if you're 1 and 6, it's almost kind of like why you trading away your best guy for anyway. Like I have a 1 and 6 team, and like trading away my best player for like a quantity of mediocre players isn't really going to do anything. That's not going to help me win. Like I need more elite players. I need to be the one packaging 3-for-1s and just screwing the depth, and because you just need to win each week. So it's almost the opposite mindset. So if you can pull it off, try to pull it off. It's there. I think it's doable. And if you really need to, you can always sell off Eckler anyway. So yeah, I'd say just go ahead and do it. Why not? Shake things up. Is Adams fully healthy? I mean, I think he's still kind of lingering. It's just more so Jimmy G and his back issue that could just flare up anytime. Like that's the tough part. So that's what you have to worry about more so than Adams. Like he's playing. He hasn't missed a game. Like he's going to play. He came back. He didn't even like not finish the game. Like he went in, got treatment, came back out, and he was good to go. He says his other wide receivers are Ridley, Waddle, Zay, and Dobbs. Oh, if you can get him instead of Pittman, if you can get him to put in Ridley. Oh, you already have ETN too, though, huh? Yeah, you don't want too many stacks. If you can get Waddle, I would love to try to get Waddle instead of Pittman. So see if you can get Pittman instead. Or I'm sorry, see if you can get Waddle instead of Pittman. I doubt it, but I would try to go Waddle first. And man, I would like it if he didn't have ETN because you could take that chance on Ridley. Dubs, I don't mind, but yeah, either way. Let's see. So Tycoon saying still if he's 1 and 6, the 3-for-2 could be attractive to him. So he's saying, yeah, go ahead and give it a try. He said, oh, if those are his wide receivers, Adams definitely could look good to him, especially after a down game for Eckler. So yeah, Adams and B-Rob for just Eckler. I think I like a little more. If you can do that, keep Collins. He said, plus him being hurt most of the year, a guy might be frustrated with him, even if he is still value him highly. So yeah, so I agreed there. As I said, the trade would be Eckler and Waddle for Nico, Adams, and B-Rob. Yeah, I like that a little more than Pittman. And yeah, I think I like that. Yeah, I think I would do that. Eckler and Waddle and give up Nico, Adams, and B-Rob. Yeah, if you can pull that off, I think that'd be good. For sure. All right. So he says, all right. So that'll rend it out, man. So probably one of the shorter shows I've done in a while, even at an hour 40. So I just want to thank you guys all for coming out here, man, hanging out with me. Sorry for all the sniffles and the coughs. I think I muted most of them there. Hopefully, I do have to do, of course, a little housekeeping here for you guys. So make sure you guys go check out UnderdogFantasy.com. No waivers, no trades, no lineup changes. Basically, draft your team and set it and forget it. Come collect your money later. They have a bunch of different big time tournaments where anywhere from $3, $5 to even $25 for their Best Ball Mania, where they're making 3 millionaires this year, 3 million to first, 2 million to second, 1 million to third. And then they had their Best Ball Resurrection, another big tournament they did starting week 6. It's unfortunately closed now. But more importantly, if you're not getting in just the weekly Best Ball tournaments that they're doing for the main slates and Thursday slates, things like that, then make sure you guys go check out their Pick'em. Their Pick'em, you're just picking higher or lower. You can put your entry in each week. You just, very simple, pick if one guy's going to have a higher or lower than total yards, a touchdown, a interception, whatever it is. You can check out all their props that they have there. Make sure you guys use that promo code GetRight when you do. That will help with the channel here for us. And keep an eye out for those 100K Sunday giveaways. They are giving out $10,000 to 10 random people just for including whatever mystery player they have. They haven't announced it quite yet this week. So just make sure you tune into us on Friday or go sign up on Underdog Fantasy and you'll see that featured pick. Just include it. You don't even have to get it correctly. Last week it was Hollywood Brown, plus or minus 56.5 points. I had him on my card, nailed all my other picks, didn't get the Marquise Brown one. Unfortunately, I didn't get picked for the 10,000. But had I not included Hollywood Brown on there, I would have made $100 just for putting $5 out there. So those are a lot of fun. In addition to tracking your fantasy teams, it's fun to track those pick'em entries as well. So make sure you check it out. And again, when you do sign up, you will get not only their 100% deposit match up to $500 at the moment. So you deposit $500, you'll get an additional $500 matched in your account there. Not only that, you'll get the new customer special pick'em. If you sign up before tomorrow night when the game starts, it'll be Josh Allen higher or lower than a half a total yard. So it's basically a free pick, like a free square, so to speak, on your pick'em entry. So make sure you guys go check out those pick'em contests. They have a ton of different games and players and teams to choose from. So make sure you guys go check it out and use that promo code GetRight. Alrighty. Also, keep your eyes out. Dustin just got back from Cancun or somewhere in Mexico, and we're going to be doing our 100 subscriber giveaway. So we're going to be giving away this ring, this customized ring from our boys over at TrophySmack.com. So make sure you guys go check them out. The link is in the description. Use that promo code at checkout. Not only can you get custom rings like this and this, but you can also get customizable belts, different colors, black, green, white. They even have like snake rattleskin type leather to go with it. So those are really cool. Frank and I have those in our home leagues belt that gets passed around. They also have, of course, your standard trophies that are all fully customizable. Obviously, can get them ingrained every year to pass that thing around. And then they have even cool stuff like your Kirk Cousins chains, fully customizable over at TrophySmack.com. Our boy Tycoon drafted there for a Scott Fish Bowl this year at the TrophySmack.com headquarters, so I'm sure he got to see a bunch of cool stuff there. But yeah, make sure you guys, if you haven't already, go check out TrophySmack.com. Tell your commissioner that you need one of these added to your league. Put that league's logo on there, your team name, the year you won, have it all customized, something you can keep for, they have an option like this is only $7 per person on top of your buy-in. To have a ring you can keep forever. So what better way to commemorate your win by an awesome ring? And then you can get a ring case and display those things or wear them out. It'll definitely be an eye catcher. So again, make sure you guys keep your eyes on that 1,000 subscriber giveaway video that we're going to put out. Like we said, we should be doing it hopefully this weekend. Dustin's back from Mexico, so we can hopefully get that done and get that thing given out to you guys. So yeah, without anything else going on in here, we got Smokey saying the ring looks fire there. So there we go. And Let's see. We got Tycoon saying, great show. Feel better, Rasta. Hope it turns out to be nothing. Yeah, I hope it's just like allergies or something, man, from coming out here in the casita in the little studio here. So, you know, I'm hoping I can get this thing cleared up. We got EK saying, great show. Always thankful for the answers. You guys know I love nothing more than coming out here and talking football with you guys, man. So there it is. So with that said, for Classic Mike, who his computer is being delivered, I believe, tomorrow. So he should be up and running on Friday. For Dustin, who's coming back from Cancun. For Frank, who's laid up in bed, probably passed out right now. Hopefully got some NyQuil in him, and he's feeling good. So I'm sure he'll be back here with me on Monday. And for me, Rasta here for Get Right Fantasy Network, man, we appreciate you guys. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you already subscribed, hit that like button for us. Otherwise, man, we're out of here. I'll see you guys on Monday. Good luck, unless you're playing me, Neanderthal. Later.
Wanted to write fantasy is the play. Marking nothing, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided.